смотри-ка. Бомба же у него там на самолете. Еще взрыв.
Ебать! Ты что, дура, блядь, бабу ебал? Алло, блядь!
People in Krasnodar woke up to the kind of sound no one ever wants to hear. Sirens, loud, relentless, and carrying a message that froze the whole city. Grab emergency supplies and take your anti-radiation pills. Here's the thing. When a government tells millions of people to brace for radiation, the mind doesn't stay calm. Windows opened, lights flicked on across neighborhoods, and within minutes, the streets were buzzing with fear. Families rushed to pack food, medicine, documents, anything they could carry. Phones lit up with frantic messages. No one understood what was happening. They only knew one thing. Something had gone terribly wrong. And then the sky answered that question. More than 150 Ukrainian drones pushed deep into Russian territory, heading straight for key military bases around Krasnodar. The attack wasn't quiet. Locals could hear the distant hum, then explosions, then the sharp crackling of Russian air defenses firing wildly into the night. Meanwhile, Ukrainian drones kept coming, dozens, then dozens more. Some hit their targets, some were shot down. But the sheer number overwhelmed everything Russia had in place. And for hours, the skies over Krasnodar looked less like a protected zone and more like a battleground Russia wasn't prepared to fight. And just when it seemed the night couldn't get any worse, strikes hit Russia's Black Sea coast. Russia's Black Sea coast under attack. What was keeping Russian citizens up all night? Not storms, not sirens, but something far more unsettling. Ukrainian drones, more than 150 air and sea drones, tore through the darkness, heading straight towards strategic military sites across the Crimean Peninsula and the Black Sea coast. Silent at first, then unstoppable. Their presence alone was enough to jolt entire cities awake. A missile meant to protect turns deadly. In a catastrophic failure of Russia's air defense system, a densely populated area was struck, and a historic lighthouse reduced to rubble. Panic spreads as footage of the impact floods social media, exposing just how fragile the city's defenses really are. Russia's air defenses did respond, but that's where the real tension began. Instead of a calm, coordinated operation, the night sky lit up with chaotic missile fire. Launchers scrambled, radars flickered, and the whole system seemed on the edge of losing control. Missiles arced wildly, as if the defenders were fighting shadows they couldn't quite track. For the people on the ground, it wasn't just an attack. It was a night where no one knew what would come out of the sky next. Unfortunately, not every Russian citizen was as fortunate. One of the air defense missiles appeared to fall into a densely populated area, triggering a wave of panic across Russian social media. Footage from the scene quickly spread online. Another angle of the impact soon surfaced, showing just how close the strike came to residential buildings. The incident has reignited discussions about Russia's air defense capabilities, with many observers questioning whether greater investment in effective defense systems is needed. Combined with long-standing criticism of the government's approach to manpower on the front lines, these events have fueled a wider belief that Russian leadership is failing to prioritize the safety of its own citizens. In the city of Novorossiysk, a late-night UAV attack created chaos. But not only in the skies. Something far more unusual happened on the ground. During the attack, the city's public warning system was hacked. Suddenly, loudspeakers across Novorossiysk began broadcasting a chilling message, a supposed chemical, radioactive, and storm threat. Through loudspeakers, citizens were urged to gather food, belongings, and take iodine prophylaxis against radiation contamination. However, the city mayor Andrei Kravchenko reported that the alert system was hacked. Reports suggest that during this attack, Ukraine didn't only use drones. They also deployed a digital weapon, a virus. Not a biological virus, but a cyber attack capable of breaking into the city's emergency broadcast network. Drone strikes, launched from Ukraine, have pushed Russian authorities to tighten security measures yet again, leading to the closure of airspace at several major airports across the country. Early hour. Tuesday morning, 2 Ukrainian drones were shot down over Moscow, another escalation in a drone war that has steadily intensified between the two countries in recent months. Just a day earlier, a Ukrainian strike destroyed a Russian long-range bomber at the Soltsy 2 airbase, located south of St. Petersburg. Following the latest incidents in Krasnogorsk and Chastsy, Moscow's 3 largest airports suspended all operations, according to the TASS news agency. The sudden shutdown sparked frustration among travelers, many of whom were forced to abandon their plans and return home while waiting for further instructions from airport authorities. Putin regime is facing a profound crisis. The failure to secure Moscow's own airspace against Ukrainian long-range drone attacks suggests the war is approaching a critical turning point. Despite repeated Russian counteroffensives, Ukraine's growing strike capability continues to outpace Russian defenses. For the Kremlin, this war is increasingly unwinnable. Donald Trump declared that Ukraine had no cards to play. Putin echoed the sentiment with his usual bravado, stepping before cameras to deliver an ultimatum to Zelensky. Meanwhile, Sergei Lavrov reinforced the Kremlin's hard line, insisting that no peace plan besides Trump's proposal would be considered. Europe, he warned, should not expect Russia to rush to negotiations. It was a moment of swagger for Moscow, a moment that didn't last long. While the Kremlin admired its own reflection, convinced of its strength, Kyiv answered not with diplomatic words, but with a brutal, unmistakable message on the battlefield. Because even as Putin issued his threats, Russia was already burning. First, reports emerged that the energy lifeline of Moscow had gone dark. Then, warships in Novorossiysk, oil pipelines in Tuapse, and logistics hubs across the south came under attack. These strikes had become familiar, but what happened next shocked even seasoned observers. Taganrog, a place most Russians barely thought about, suddenly became the epicenter of a military disaster. According to local accounts, nearly 20 explosions echoed through the night. When the smoke lifted, the scale of the damage became clear. Hangars shattered, Tu-95 strategic bomber facilities torn open, and, most shocking of all, Russia's rare A-60 airborne laser aircraft, an experimental platform tied to space warfare research, appeared to have been destroyed inside its own hangar. Footage shared online showed flames consuming an aircraft near the Taganrog South airfield. Simultaneously, oil and logistics facilities in Novorossiysk and Tuapse were hit, striking at Russia's vital war financing infrastructure. As fires raged across the city, one resident walked calmly through the blaze, speaking on the phone as though none of it were real. But the panic was real, especially when civilian loudspeakers suddenly blared nuclear and chemical attack warnings across the port city. Moments later, the mayor explained that the alert system had been compromised. Russia descended into chaos. Amid the confusion, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov insisted that Western media had lost influence and that state channels like RT and Sputnik were the only sources of truth. But the videos posted by residents told a far different story. One of misfired air defense missiles crashing into apartment buildings. The incident fueled renewed criticism of Russia's military spending priorities. Many observers argued that instead of pouring money into endless artillery production, the government should invest in effective air defenses, something the night's chaos made painfully clear. And where was Vladimir Putin during all of this? While cities burned and alarms echoed, he appeared in Kyrgyzstan, smiling and watching musical performances, songs, dances, traditional melodies, seemingly untouched by the events unfolding at home. To understand how the situation escalated, it helps to rewind to November 25th. That day, Donald Trump announced that his peace plan had been rewritten. Zelensky signaled he was prepared to meet and was open to accepting much of the proposal. Kyiv was determined to demonstrate strength, not with Western-supplied missiles, but with its own arsenal. Bars, jet-powered UAVs, Neptune cruise missiles, Flamingo-class weapons, and more. For Ukraine, battlefield performance would shape the negotiating table. And while Ukraine attacked from above, Russia was crumbling from within. Reports surfaced of unpaid shipyard workers, faulty naval vessels, and military projects failing before they even left the dock. Even without Ukrainian strikes, many of Putin's grand ventures appeared to be collapsing under their own weight. The coordinated Ukrainian operation combined missile forces, naval units, special operations elements, and advanced unmanned systems. One of the prime targets was the Beriev Aviation Science and Technology Complex in Rostov Oblast, a critical hub for Russia's aviation program. This facility handled the upgrades and major repairs of Tu-95MS bombers, the very aircraft that carry the Kh-1 cruise missiles used against Ukraine. Sources within Ukraine's defense community stated that the strike involved Neptune missiles and Bar's jet-powered UAVs, signaling a shift into a faster, more sophisticated era of drone warfare. Although Russia's defense ministry claimed to have intercepted 249 drones, videos recorded by civilians showed large fires burning at the facility's runways and hangars. But the most devastating loss appeared to be the A-60 experimental airborne laser aircraft, an asset considered irreplaceable. Built on a modified Il-76 transport airframe, the A-60 had been designed to test high-power airborne laser systems capable of disabling aircraft, surveillance balloons, and even satellite sensors. Video from Taganrog captured an aircraft engulfed in flames near the facility, fueling widespread panic. Speculation that the A-60 had been destroyed.